Hi, I'm Craig. That's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. Weekdays, we're gonna make it today. Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Episode 87, Brad. I can't believe it, but we made it.
Woo! Another day down. Another day down. We've survived.
It's amazing how far you can make it when you just don't give a crap about what people think about you.
Yeah. I made a tweet I don't know, yesterday, and I used a word wrong, Craig. And do you know how many people let me know I just did it?
Canceled.
I used a word wrong, and you know how many people came to let me know I used that word wrong?
Of course.
And I was like, I wrote something back and I said, "That's great. I don't care." And then they go, "Oh, really? You don't care so much that you bothered to respond?" And I was like, I mean, the internet's entertaining to me. It's like people watching at the mall to me. And then they just kept going. And it's like, you people, like, you know who they are? They are every single one of them. I swear.
20-something-year-old white girls?
20-something-year-old white girls or little boys that
looking
are just
to get laid by the 20-something-year-old white girls?
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know if boys go after girls anymore based on the rules and regulations of society.
Who knows? Look, I don't care who you go after. I really don't. I just want you to live the best life you can. With that said, shut the fuck up. Let's do this thing. I'm ready to go tonight. We're gonna have an excellent show. Maybe, Brad. I don't know. You tell me.
It's going to be one of the best shows we've ever done. As a matter of fact, Craig, March 29th, 1987, for our 87th episode. What was the number one song in America?
S S S S A A A A F F F F E E E E T T T T Y Y Y Y safe.
I think you're off by a couple of years there. No, it wasn't the safety dance.
Hold on. We can dance if you want to. Sorry, okay. I love that song. It's so good. Do you love that song?
Yeah, I love it. The safety dance?
Yeah.
Also known as The Brady Bunch by Weird Al Yankovic.
maybe.
That's how everything goes back to Weird Al for me. Just about everything. No, the number one song. Let me tell you. The number one song on this date in 1987 was the song Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship.
How's that go?
It goes, I just listened to it and I had it in my head. You know it if you heard it. It's from the movie Mannequin. Can we just talk about the concept of the movie Mannequin real quick? If anybody has ever seen it or hasn't seen it, you might want to check it out.
I'm going to listen to it real quick and just.
Yeah. It sounds exactly like you would think it would sound. From a song.
Nothing's gonna stop us.
Yep, there it is. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry. Sometimes
there you go.
Do it. Man,
now this movie Mannequin.
Whoa, hold on, real quick. I'm sorry. The Starship Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now official music video on YouTube published May 9th, 2014. Guess the viewership number on it. Guess.
29 million.
Keep going.
100 million.
Keep going.
1 billion?
No. This is no.
500 million.
187 million views. That's
all right.
Well, what?
That's one of those songs you clean your house to, and you're sitting there and you're going, you're mopping the floor or something. What what is that song? And then you look it up. I guarantee every one of those views is the result of somebody going, what is that song? That da-da-da-da-da-da? And then they looked it up on YouTube and they found it. 100 and what? 87?
187 million. Listen to this comment from Ethan Peterson from 10 months ago. This is the number one comment on it. 98 years old and still listening to this. Crying myself to sleep with happy tears. So glad I got to live through those years.
Wow. A 98-year-old. Now, if that's a true comment, some 98-year-old on YouTube.
Right. Let's just be real. The 98-year-old on YouTube who posted 10 months ago, number one is probably dead. Number two,
listen.
Strictly statistically speaking, sorry to bring it down.
You know why that's the number one comment? Because everybody likes the idea of a 98-year-old man surfing YouTube, listening to 80s hits.
Right. I was really looking for Starship. Nothing going to stop me now from that fancy movie in the 80s called Mannequin.
Out of all my days, there's that one song. It just I can't escape it. It's a magic song. It's by the band Starship.
Larry, is that you? Larry, is that you?
It could be Larry. Larry of all people. No. Now, what I want to talk about was the movie Mannequin, where it's a mannequin that comes to life, and he falls in love with it. Right? It's like his date thing.
Nowadays, the mannequin doesn't even need to come to life for you to fall in love with it. And it'd be okay. I'm just saying.
That's true. Like, you can order one on Amazon, and it will be your girlfriend.
That's right.
Regardless.
It's amazing how that works out. It's good.
Yeah.
Look, we're gonna have a great show tonight. Thank you for sharing a little bit of historical trivia for us, Brad. That's great.
Yeah. There was a lot of movies in the 80s like that where boys were just like creating women in their bedroom, like through like what was that movie? The science fiction movie.
Yeah.
Weird Science. Yeah. That was a big thing in the 80s. Now, that's a good topic for a conversation sometime soon. I want to talk about how all of our problems, everything you want to blame on everybody else, just trace it back to the movies.
Hey, I love the idea. That was it Revenge of the Nerds or something where they built a robot, like a sexual robot or something. I feel like there was some movie like that. Maybe it was another Revenge of the Nerds I was watching. I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, think about all those 80s movies where the boys were peeping in on girls' locker rooms and stuff. Like, you wouldn't get that today. And then it peaked in the 90s. I was thinking about that the other day with like American Pie and stuff, like pervy teenage movies and stuff. And
they're still coming out.
Are they really?
Oh yeah. You can find the pervy teen movie on Netflix for sure. They're like American Pie still makes movies, the brand American Pie. So you can see a lot of there's like American Pie Road Trip, American Pie Sorority House Party. Like there's a ton of them. I watch them. I mean, I've seen them on Netflix.
My point is, like, we're in such a delicate state right now. Everybody's like, oh, the straight white male is the problem. Well, how many movies of straight white males were made of them being like, this is our year to get laid? And that was the whole movie, right? Right. And now you're blaming those guys on all the world's problems. Well, maybe you shouldn't have made those movies, Hollywood. I want to talk about that for one full episode one day.
Sounds good. I love it. Like Joshua says, Weird Science with two guys making a Barbie doll into a real woman to be their girlfriend. Not just one of them, but both of their girlfriends, which is great. Hey, Ford Progressive. Ford and Progressive. Hey, right there. That's great.
Who are we to judge?
I don't know. Tai wants to know what was the first movie you saw with boobs. I'll tell you, I don't remember the first movie I saw with boobs. It was probably some like Skinamax thing, like Emmanuel in Space or something like that, But I'll tell you the first movie that like really was like, whoa, you should not watch this because there are things in this, was Basic Instinct, starring Sharon Stone. Oh, yeah.
We had a neighbor in our neighborhood, and I won't mention their name here on the internet, but you'd know who it was. Their dad took their youngest brother in elementary school to see Basic Instinct. That was the story. It was, hey, Yeah, my dad took our brother to see it. 'Cause-
Like in that movie, it starts off with this lady stabbing this guy to death
I
with an ice
know
pick.
this kid, this poor kid. I hope he's doing all right these days. I'm sure he
Oh
was like,
God.
that's a story for the rest of your life. Yeah, my dad took me to see Basic Instinct when I was 9 years old.
Wow, that's
Just
I
me and
can't
my
even.
dad in the theater,
Yeah, as Indy
just
says,
watching Basic Instinct.
while having sex, she stabs the shit out of him. Man,
Yeah.
I can't even believe that. Wow.
Maybe
Man, what?
it was a stroke of authority where it's like he was like he caught the kid he caught the boy with like a nudie magazine. He's like, I'll teach you. We're gonna go watch this lady murder people while she has sex with them. It's like kind of like making a kid smoke a carton of cigarettes to teach him a lesson. It's like,
Right.
you don't treat women like objects or they'll murder you.
Yeah,
And the kid's just
they'll
like,
come through. They'll come after you with an ice pick.
yeah. I get it now, Dad. Thanks.
Thanks,
It was a
Dad.
good bonding moment for us.
All right. Speaking of
Yeah.
bonding moments, let's go to our everyone's favorite feature. It's time for the YouTube comment of the day. This one comes from our friend, and we have not seen this friend in a while. It's Jawbreaker Alumni, who's talking about yesterday's book of the Ook and Gluck canceling. Says, I have this book. If this book is racist, then I'll grow wings and fly into the sun. Fucking seriously, cancel culture needs to go the way of the dodo. Well, you better start sprouting those wings there, Jawbreaker, because apparently Scholastics deems this racist AF. I'm sorry, Jawbreaker, but you're rewarded with 14 points today. But unfortunately, after you die from flying too close to the sun, you'll no longer be able to use them. Congratulations. You get the YouTube comment of the day. The dodo.
The way of the dodo.
The dodo.
14 Ook and Gluck points.
There you go. I love it.
You get, you know what else you get? Another copy of Ook and Gluck sent straight to your door. I've got one here sitting here. I don't think I'm going to get $7,000 for it, but
it's now $8,000. Have you checked to see how much Ook and Gluck is going for on eBay?
I didn't even check to see if eBay was allowing it to be sold.
Well, let me do a quick
On
glance.
there.
This is something we need to find out really fast because I got to be honest. I need to see how. Oh wow!
How much is it going for? Can I buy land?
You can buy something. Ook and Gluck going for $150.
Oh,
it's
wait. Why is
moving
that a pre-order? Some guy is like, look, I'm giving myself till April 15th to find as many used copies as I can. I'm just going to list them now. $150.
I mean, lowest is $50 here. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Give it up for Ook and Gluck, man. Give it up for capitalism. Oh, $20. Must be a crappy copy.
14 bids. Look how crazy that went.
Yeah,
14 bids on Ook and Gluck already. That is so funny. Somebody has got a nice collection of banned children's books brewing in their basement right now.
And they'll then throw them all in the fire and be like, I did it. I burned all the books.
Yeah. That's their ultimate goal is like, look, I'm going to buy them all. And I'm going to pretend like I'm a collector, but really, I'm going to burn them and then no more of that craziness.
I love it.
Okay.
Love it. So I wanted to tell a story real quick before we got real into the show today, because the story and the show kind of tie in together. But something happened today during the podcast or during my live stream, which once again, I stream every morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 a.m. Central Time. So pretty much you see me at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. every night. So in like 12 hours, I'll be streaming from on Monday through Friday. But this morning, I know, it's crazy. Then I do a bunch of stuff throughout the day. It's fun. But it was interesting because this morning we had something happen and it really meant a lot to me. And I wanted to share it with you because the person who shared it, Aaron, really wanted you to hear it as well. And I think it's really important that I didn't want to tell you anything about this outside of there's something I have to tell you. Now, we're going to talk to Aaron later this week. And here's why. I'm going to read you the donations that Aaron put down in his donations real quick. It says, I was going to send this to you personally, but I wanted everyone to hear it, especially Brad. I've told you of my health issues, and literally almost died in the hospital over the weekend. But when I woke up and felt powerless, I repeated the first verse of your podcast song in my head. Life is hard and you can't give up. It really helped me get through those days. Thank you, Craig and Brad. Thank you, Craig, Brad, and Legends. And I asked him what
Wow.
happened. And he said, new medication led to a very low blood pressure, very, very bad seizures, and a fun ride in the ambulance. In the hospital for 3 days, still extremely fatigued. So
Wow.
pretty awesome stuff. Pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah,
And
that's amazing.
right. Pretty cool. And like it really for me was awesome to hear. And you're the one who coined those, you know, you're the one who wrote it, produced it, and did everything in the song. I mean, it's your
Yeah.
piece of work.
Yeah.
And so to hear like that song literally helped Aaron, you know, pull through after a weekend of hell. So that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. Like I said,
Yeah.
if nothing else comes to this podcast, if nothing else, it was worth it.
There it is right there for real. Like, wow. Like that's amazing. I'm humbled by that story. You know, when you do these things, like I've been doing, like I've mentioned several times, kids music over the last couple of years, and I've had little kids come up and say the sweetest things to me about music. And you never think about when you create something, even just a 15-second intro, a goofy little project I gave myself for this show, how it can affect other people. And that's fantastic to hear. There was its purpose right there. And I'm deeply moved by that. Yeah.
I think, you know, what I said about it was the theme song is not just a catchy theme song. It's a mantra of the show. I mean, it truly is, right? Like we realize we're fighting an uphill battle with what we're doing, you know, and in a world of podcasts that are flushed full of crap out there, where people only want to hear groupthink and tell you all the, you know, tell you what you want to hear and regurgitate it over and over again, where we're actually trying to have conversations with, you know, both like-minded people and people that don't agree with us. You know, that's what this whole podcast is about. And it's something that, you know, life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. You know, it seems like it's a mantra for the show. It's not just a theme. So it's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
Aaron, just meh over on Twitch. Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
just obviously,
Thank you.
you know, so
Yeah.
Cool.
That's incredible. So we get to talk to Aaron.
yes,
this week.
Aaron's gonna call us on Thursday night when we do our weekly call-in show. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Tattoo says, Brad,
Mhm.
you don't realize how much you help. You and Craig help us legends each passing day. Well, Tattoo, you help us get through the days as well. I genuinely look forward to this every single day. So,
You know, these comments, like these are great to hear. You know, it's so easy. We've gone through quite a bit of hate, negativity going through this show, and you know, it's easy to zero in on that stuff sometimes because you're like, what did I do?
right.
And we get on here and we goof around and we talk, and I'm so glad to hear that stuff, guys, for real. I'm glad that you guys are here connecting, and Craig and I are, you know, we're going to keep doing it as long as you're here hanging out with us. So
Right.
that's fantastic.
It's awesome. Speaking of people who've been hanging out for a while, Timor, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for resubbing tier 1 for 4 months. Is how much have Brad dressed like the cat in the hat at a Cardi B concert?
How much?
How much?
Dignity. How much is that worth?
$7. No.
However much the highest bid on the Ook and Gluck auctions right now.
Right. You know, Colin says, I hang out here because I don't want to be something I'm not in order to fit in with people. There you go. Right. We're the band of misfits, whether you like it or not. Right.
Yeah.
I love that. Love that.
For real.
Andy, by the way, speaking of the call-in show, you can be a part of it if you are on Patreon, if you support us via Patreon, which, by the way, Andy and Go210 also became patrons over at patreon.com/CraigSkits just in the last 10 minutes. So thank you guys very much. You guys will, our patrons always get the first links to first opportunity to be a part of the call-in show. And if we ever get to a point to where we need more call-in shows, then we'll eventually open it up to everybody else. But patrons always get first dibs. to be a part of the call-in show. So that'll be this Thursday night. So be ready for that. Also, go to 10 came in with the $9.99 super chat. Just
Yeah,
like, thanks, guys.
thanks.
Well, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Like you've officially quadrupled the revenue that well probably 500%ed whatever that is when the revenue, because each show makes between 90 cents and I'm sorry $1.50 and $2. So all right,
So we're rolling in it.
rolling baby.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Dindon says, remember when Dr. Seuss? Oh, sorry. Remember when Dr. Seuss hats was the hat to wear at raves? No.
No. Never went to a rave in my life.
I mean, it's funny. The only raves I went to were the ones I ran at Screw Attack and SGC, because we had raves in the middle of the night, and I don't really know what a rave is, so I was just like, yeah, you can go play your loud music and get out your glow sticks, kids. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I was too much of a nerd to do that. I wasn't cool.
Travis came in with 500 bits. It says, I think we all need to remember not to take things not so seriously, because the world is far too serious all the time. Thank you, Travis. Yeah. I think that's if we can come and laugh about things on a night-to-night basis about how stupid things are on the regular, I think that I think we're doing our job, and I hope that.
Oh
that
my
works out.
gosh! I told somebody to lighten up the other day. Do you know? I got a private message about that.
Telling somebody to lighten up?
Yeah.
You told
I
somebody to
can't
lighten
tell
up.
people. I can't tell people to lighten up. These are very serious times. My philosophy is, look, yeah, exactly what you just said. It's, you know what? These are serious times. Let's laugh about it. It's the only way to survive at that point.
Let's go back to that puckered up butt. Puckered up butthole. Just, you need to loosen it up a little. I wasn't sure what that was.
That was a puckered up butt.
Oh, that's good.
Yep.
And like Ian Pian says, also thanks for those great game trailers top 10s, which were the best for their time. You mean the best of all time, Ian Pian? Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate that, man. And glad you're here. Thank you so much for finding me. We're having a good time over here. And I will not be doing any top 10s in the future.
And everything you enjoy about this and that I've done, I'll never do again.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and for the record, really quick, those were Screw Attack top 10s that appeared on game trailers. But at the end of the day, they're both dead brands. So whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay.
This is the new brand, baby. The punk rock of podcasting.
That's right. All right, let's get into this. The title of tonight's show is very simple. It is the movies, the shows, and music that made us. And I thought we'd talk about this tonight because this actually would be a really great topic to talk about on Thursday when we have our call-in show. I think what we're going to try to do is gear everything to Thursday. Everything we talk about is an open conversation for the Thursday show, the Thursday night show, and we'll see how that goes. But this is a great opportunity once again for you to get to know us even better, and for us to get to know you even better on Thursdays whenever you guys call in. So yeah, it should be fun. I'm really excited. FPS Spooky says, or FB Spooky says, I saw the thumbnail and it brought me back to my first concert, which was Weird Al. Well, guess what? Brad and I are going to talk about all the movies, the TV shows, and the music / albums that made us who we are. Should I start, or do you want to go first?
So you want to start with movies? It will just toggle back and forth and talk about these things?
Right. Yeah. How about this? I'll start because I think mine is the most obvious to start.
Okay.
Yeah. And my number one movie that made me who I am is 100% UHF. Right. The movie UHF, starring Weird Al, 1987, 1988. And a lot of people are like, well, yeah, you talk about it all the time. But if you think about the similarities of everything that happened in UHF and Screw Attack, like they are truly one and the same. Just one was on public access and one was on this internet thing. The idea of just throwing as much as you can against the wall and having fun and having your star, having your Stanley Spadowski, or in our case, the nerd, or Nathan Barnett, right? Who was the crazy guy and having fun. And then you got this guy behind the scenes thinking of all these crazy things to do, and with his crazy staff and doing these telethons. Like there's so much that was, I mean, literally that movie changed how I thought about Screw Attack. Screw Attack was my version of U62. And that was
UHF was your business model,
right,
essentially,
right, yeah,
for a Screw
okay,
Attack. Yeah,
I mean, truly it was. And I thought I wanted to show you this really quick. This is a really just a clip from it. This is the promo. Let me show you. This is them working on their channel lineup, their show lineup as program directors. And the program director's job is to come up with to schedule the program and work with the program to make it as best as possible. And this was the content that they were producing. And this is exactly what it was like at Screw Attack.
Okay, how's this for our new Friday night lineup? 8 o'clock, Druids on Parade, then the Volcano Worshippers Hour, followed by Underwater Bingo for teams, and Fun with Dirt. Why not?
and his business partner was my head. Yeah, why not? Right? And that's exactly how it went.
Go for it. That's how you ended up with. That's exactly how you ended up with, like, us doing Unaware Steve.
Right.
What do you want to do? Okay.
Sure. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go. Mm-hmm. And I brought that over to Game Attack, and we're doing that now. You know, we're doing the exact same thing. Like, why not? Why the hell not? And then I think about the movie or the trailer for the other content that you saw on U62.
There's lots of fun coming your way this weekend on U62. First, slam your way to health as you stay fit with Mike and Spike. Next, everybody's favorite, Chef Bernie invites you to go bowling for burgers.
Nice.
Sunday, be a part of the excitement as we premiere our dazzling new game show, Strip Solitaire.
You know what I love about this real quick? This guy on the right, Noodles McIntosh, was just a cameraman, and he put him on TV. And like that was exactly
Right.
he was just a guy, and then he becomes the star of Strip Solitaire.
And then join us for some hilarious fun on the all-new Practical Jokes and Bloopers.
And he's the cameraman too.
Don't want to miss Celebrity Mud
Exactly.
Wrestling with this week's special guest,
They get Mikhail
Gorbachev.
Gorbachev for Celebrity Mud Wrestling.
It's a whole new weekend on U62. The reason television was invented. Be there.
And there you go. So
That's
that
great.
is the reason. And you can, like, I've said this before, I'll say it again, but UHF has played and will continue to play, you know, as inspiration for me, my professional life, and everything that I do. And I know probably nobody has got more inspiration out of UHF in their professional career, unless somebody is working at ESPN or ABC and doing it just like Weird Al in 1989. I promise nobody has gotten more out of UHF than I have.
Yeah, that's great. I could have easily have chose UHF as well, because we rented it. We would often we'd find ourselves at our grandparents' house, and we'd walk to the video store, and we always would rent UHF. And that's what you did back in the day. You didn't just have a phone. You didn't just own the movie. You rented it, and you rented the same movie often, you know. And Weird Al was just orbited around our life. Weird Al. Somebody had mentioned Weird Al was their first concert. We might have mentioned this a few times by now, but Weird Al was our first concert. Weird Al opening up for the Monkees in 1987.
Yep.
And our older brother Kenny had won tickets on the radio. And we went, and that is, I have realized, my earliest memory. Weird Al, the Monkees in a concert. I think that has affected my entire trajectory of life. I was like 3 years old. But when I think about it, I still love Weird Al. I still love the Monkees. Just the imagery of what I have faintly in my brain still about what I saw that night, because I do remember we were on the back hill, and I remember walking in. I fell asleep after like the first 3 songs the Monkees did. And yeah, it's just crazy how that stuff just keeps coming around you. Like Weird Al kept coming back no matter what, you know. Obviously, he was a big star during that time, but first memory, then UHF, then I had all his albums on cassette tape. I even in 5th grade wanted to start a bootleg Weird Al cassette business where I would sell Weird Al's greatest hits on recorded cassette tapes. It didn't last very long. An afternoon, I would say.
You were Napster before Napster was a thing.
That's right. And I apologize for wanting to rip off Weird Al in 5th grade. I promise you, I didn't make any money. It was more about wanting to make the artwork. I was sat there with my drawing pad. I was like, I'm going to make a cool Weird Al artwork cover.
Hey, I had a thought real quick while you were talking about movies and renting movies. Every
Mhm.
month when I stream, I have these knockout goals, right? And knockout is like a success. We kill a bar through donations and bits and subscriptions and such whenever I stream. What
Mhm.
about for April? What if we I set a knockout goal for us to go and visit the last Blockbuster store in
Mhm.
Bend, Oregon. Would you be interested in that?
Oh, yeah.
And we
That'd
did
be
a live
great.
stream from it?
Yeah. Is that the one that is now Airbnb?
No. I think I don't know, but would you be interested in doing a live stream wouldn't that be cool to do a live stream from
Well, of
Bend,
course it would.
Oregon and go there?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course it
okay.
would.
Seems like the legends
Yeah.
are into that idea. Seems like, yeah. So I know,
Got to
I know
do it.
James did a video of it not too long ago, but I want to go there and I want to smell it. I want to I
Yeah.
want to smell Blockbuster.
I want to smell those. They probably don't have VHS tapes on the wall, but maybe
Vilter
some
says,
DVDs.
Oregon, you might not make it back. Well, we'll see. Well, we'll do a little math and see what it will take to get us up there. And but that sure would be fun, wouldn't it? So maybe we'll do that for
Yeah.
April. Make that a knockout goal. So,
Mhm,
all right.
mhm,
So, what
mhm.
about you, Brad? What is the movie that
Yeah.
that helped make you who you are?
So this is a really hard question. I kind of landed kind of off center of what I would probably typically pick because I'd start with UHF, or I'd start with Batman in 1989 Batman movie, or the Ninja Turtles first movie, because those were movies that I remember. They're my first experiences going into the theater and
Mhm.
having an experience and stuff. But what I chose was a trilogy, a franchise, and this is one of my favorite movies. Here's a hint: the Pinheads,
Oh,
Too
that's
Darn
easy.
Loud. Yeah, there you go. I chose Back to the Future 2, and not just Back to the Future, but Back to the Future 2 specifically, because I remember us seeing Back to the Future 2, having not seen the first one. And if
Right.
you were a kid seeing Back to the Future 2, and you were seeing hoverboards and all this futuristic stuff for the year 2015, like your mind was blown. And what I love about Back to the Future and how it's crafted who I am today is it has really made me appreciate the idea of time and the idea of going back and who our parents were before we were born. You know, as we've mentioned on the show, I'm the family archivist, so I end up with everybody's pictures and videotapes and stuff, and I digitize them, and I've looked back on that, going like, golly, who were my parents, you know, before I was born, and getting an understanding of who they were and where they came from, and I love that this movie illustrates that. I love that it put let's just admit right now, our expectations, thanks to this movie of the future, were way too high.
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't get
for
any
sure.
of this. We didn't get any of this. Should we have
No
it? Yeah,
hoverboards.
probably. No hoverboards. No
No,
automatic
no,
fitted clothes that dry
no,
themselves
right.
off.
No. You know, they did make the shoes that actually laced up. They made like a
Yeah,
limited number of
I
pair
did
of them.
see that.
Yeah. It's, I
Yeah.
mean, Back to the Future too, you're right. Like, I think anybody who, if you were to ask somebody in the 80s what the future would be like, I think
Mhm.
they hit a lot of things on it, but they also
Mhm.
made it too grand. You know, type of like the holograms with Jaws coming out and you know
Mhm.
making that look awesome.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, it looks way better today, or at least in 2015 than it would have been in Back to the Future 2015.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah,
obviously they missed a
we've
lot of
got
stuff.
3D movies, but yeah, it just I think that it definitely it crafted my expectations that by the time we got to 2015, I think a lot of people felt this. It was like it made me kind of reflect and go, what the hell have we been doing? like got to 2015, and it dawned on me. I was like, what are we doing? Why don't we have, number one, any of that cool stuff? Why isn't 2015 cool? And on top of that, you go fast forward 5 years later to 2020. Jeez, we're
Hey,
way far off base.
I got to show you this. Al for real said, pretty sure we have self-driving clothes are our thing. So I did a little digging real quick.
Yeah.
Because I'm good at Googling. Check this out. The self-drying jacket. This is on Kickstarter a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Look at this. Check this out. This actually is self-drying.
You made it look like Marty's. That's great.
Right. So it'll actually dry. It has the big fans in it.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I don't know
Fair
what
enough.
type of there you go.
I want one. Oh gosh.
Hey, it came together in 2015. So there you go.
Wow. If you had gotten that jacket and you got those boots, those limited edition boots that came out, Nike boots, yeah, you'd be on top of it as far as 2015 expected standards go.
Crazy.
But I think what I really loved about the tone of the future in Back to the Future was everything. It's everything that society was still behaving itself. You look at it compared to 2020 and how now we're drifting away from that 2015 deadline date that Back to the Future 2 set us up for. And we're just tanking it. Our behavior, our expectations, our standards of living, we're going downhill now. And it's all heading towards like Biff's 1985.
Right.
We're heading back down the slope. It's like we almost made it up to the top of the roller coaster, but we didn't quite make it, and now we're just trailing backwards.
You see all the things that are happening in this movie, like all the things that, like, between the flying cars, this guy has some sort of weird surfboard, rocket board thing. The lady's in crazy cool colors. This car flying by, everything looks really, really, really cool. And
still looks cool.
You got cars landing up here. Like, how amazing is this? This still looks amazing.
Flying cars, man. Why?
Never.
Why don't we got them? I don't know. Come on, Elon Musk, get on it.
Oh my gosh! And then you got the hologram. Hey, check it out.
But see, I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this much about the 3D Jaws movie is that I kind of would rather it be like, movies have gotten so realistic with their computer animation these days. I miss the days, and this is what I love about like 80s and 90s video games. It still left so much to the imagination that it didn't matter that it wasn't perfect. Like if just the idea of the shark coming at you, even though it looked like a cartoon, would have been enough, for most people just be like, oh, that was scary. I don't need it to be super duper real. I don't need every single movie nowadays to be this gigantic epic thing,
Right.
Anyway,
says, so Biff is Bezos and he stole the almanac. Right. And
somebody did.
How about we just get some clean water, like in the pond?
Right.
I would settle for the little stuff. Right. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, we didn't even get that stuff. So yeah, the Back to the Future series, it's just one of those movies I can always have it on. It always brings back nostalgia, and it also like causes me to sort of reflect on life and just appreciate where you've come from, and look forward to the future. So it just does that to me.
I don't think you're aware of this. Did you know that there was a Back to the Future game that was made several years ago, and it's more or less thought of as the fourth movie? Did you know about this?
Yeah, I think I tried to watch the somebody cut together all of the scenes from the video game and tried to make the movie out of it. I think I attempted to watch that once, and I don't really want to watch it.
Didn't work out very well.
No,
Okay,
got
I'm just
bored real
curious.
fast.
Just curious.
Yeah. I did pull this up because I pulled up Back to the Future Rotten Tomatoes. 96% on the tomato meter. Audience scored 94%. I pulled it Back to the Future 2. 66% on the tomato meter.
What?
Yeah.
I don't
Come
know.
on.
I don't know.
Come
That's
on.
crazy. You know,
Yeah.
Tai over here says, okay, but high-speed internet, smartphones, drones, streaming services, I feel like we're in an amazing future, but we take it for granted. Tai, I understand. Absolutely understand what you're saying. With that said, a lot of those things are bad.
We're not doing the right things with them.
Right.
They are great. They're great tools, but look, what are we using high-speed internet for? Porn, cat videos, smartphones. What are we using those for? Not to call each other.
Watching us?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Tweeting. We're not using any of that stuff for the right things. And that's the problem. We're all yelling at each other online, and it's just crazy. We need to take a step back. It's moving too quickly for us, I think.
Are you want to move on to TV shows?
Yeah, for sure.
How about you start first?
All right. I didn't pull up much for this. I just got a screenshot, and I've mentioned this show. We watch it daily in our house, and I thought, well, I can't pick any other show than this. So I pulled up and I chose classic Full House. Now, I chose this show because I think that this is as near a perfect sitcom as you can get. Sitcom, clean, overall, everybody can watch it. There's a character for everybody in the family. I certainly relate to it. I certainly relate to Uncle Jesse. Now, the great thing about watching Full House now is when Jesse's like, there's one episode where he goes, I think, what was his age? He goes, I'm almost 24 years old.
Right.
And I go, holy crap, what are you talking about? You're 24 years old. There's an episode where Danny's turning 30. And I'm like, what do you mean he's turning 30? He still looks 45 to me.
You got time, Danny. You got time.
Yeah. It's crazy to think like I'm well past their age now. Everybody's age. But what I love about it is that, you know, when I was a kid, I connected more so with what the kids were doing, what the girls were growing up and experiencing. And I thought Uncle Jesse was cool, but I had no anticipation of being a musician at that point, watching it as a kid. And then now that I'm older, my kids watch it and they enjoy it. It's like one of the one shows I can put on where I really don't have to overthink it, and we can all just sit down and watch it. And there's a few more of those shows like from that era. There's Step by Step. There's Family Matters is another one, and we used to even watch before we had kids. Kelly and I made it through the entire Cosby series, and that's another great show. But now it's marred by Bill Cosby's despicable actions. So it's hard to revisit that. But
isn't it sad that when there's an entire generation literally for the Cosby Show is not they can't be in syndication now, can it?
Probably not.
Nah.
I mean, I had like we watched the Cosbys and we loved it. Health Warriors says Fresh Prince. Yeah, Fresh Prince too. Fresh Prince was another great one. All those shows. Look, think about that era in TV. You had unity.
Right.
You had diversity. You had just morality. You had tough life lessons and you were talking about them. They taught a lot. And so it's just a shame that there's not really much like that. Even when Fuller House came back and they rebooted it, I was kind of like, all right. And I watched the first episode and I think I watched the first 2 seasons or so, but I was like, I still feel like there's a 2020 agenda slipping through here a little bit. Like it just didn't really hit the same way.
Right.
So,
well, the good news is that you can actually watch some of the Cosby Show on Amazon Prime right now. You can watch season 7, I guess, Amazon of it. So
now, let me ask you this: with everything going on in the world right now, Shouldn't we hold Amazon accountable for making money off of the Cosby Show?
Cancel Amazon. Good luck. Good luck with that.
I mean, these are the little things. These are the little standards that bug me about now. Like, obviously, like, I don't care. If you want to watch the Cosby Show, guess what? It's a make-believe show. You can invest yourself in the characters if you can look past what the actors have done. And, you can appreciate it at face value. And you can do that with any art, you know? Um, but we don't need to actually cancel. And I'm just pointing out another double standard of these times.
Of course, of course. Well, it's funny because when you speak of Full House, when you speak of Family Matters, when you think of that show lineup, that TGIF, ABC, family wholesome, that's what those shows were. They were all about bringing families together, and it was this picturesque idea of what America was meant to be, whether it was a white family with Full House or a black family with Family Matters or whatever. Like it was what it was, and it showed success and what you could be. And for me, like that's something that can be understated. Even the Cosby Show, he Dr. Huxtable in a downtown New York apartment or house, extremely wealthy family. That's a crazy role model in the show, Dr. Huxtable. Obviously, Bill Cosby, we know whatever, but at the same time, I think that all those shows were great examples, which leads me to my show, which absolutely ruined all of those shows, which is The Simpsons.
The Simpsons, of course.
Yes.
And another huge one. I could totally put that on the list as well.
Yes.
You're right. Simpsons, Married with Children. I think at the end of a lot of that TGIF, the initial lineup of TGIF, we started seeing a turn in the attitude of families on TV, and The Simpsons was definitely one that turned the tide. So you can go ahead and talk about it.
I mean, you hit it on the head, right? It was the counterculture of what was thought of as acceptable. The idea of having a 10-year-old kid and don't have a cowman and being rebellious. It was perfect 90s angst at the right time. It hit, it was funny, it was really smart for the time. And now the show's obviously changed and a lot. And I haven't watched anything legitimately in 20 years. Now, I don't have a whole lot of desire to watch it, but people are watching it. It's still wildly successful. And a lot has changed. When we talk about, the different changes in the show, whether it's the voice acting, I can critique it because it's stupid, but I'm not the one watching it either. So, when we saw Carl's new voice, the other day when we did a show about that, and we talked about Carl's new voice, and that was shocking to hear.
Right.
But I think for me, the show obviously was peaked, like seasons 3 through like 8 or 9. But that's also when I watched it religiously. And I think that's when most people think the show was at its absolute peak. It was really funny. It was edgy. There was actually some pretty fun little lessons in it. You talked about things that were pretty revolutionary. You talk about Lisa being a vegetarian and not wanting to eat meat. That's something that wasn't even really thought of at the time. So it's pretty crazy when you think about it. But The Simpsons for me, just whether it's mannerisms or the way characters act, or just catchphrases that are still in my dialect on a day-to-day basis, or hilarious moments that will always be a top moment for me, whether it's Ralph's heart being stopped, in slow-mo on camera from Lisa breaking it, things like that, or even like even super early Simpsons where they get Santa's little helper, where they rescue him from the racetrack, their dog, and you learn things like, at least you learn things like compassion from those things. And I know that sounds stupid, but I learned things like that from The Simpsons. I didn't just learn to be a rebellious little asshole.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, that's the thing about that era in time, though, is like you had somebody had mentioned like that was the era of dumb dads on TV, and the kids started taking over, and they were sort of the spotlight of the show, and but there was still like an end lesson. It's kind of like when you watched the He-Man cartoon or GI Joe. No matter how much action there was at the end of the episode, they'd be like, "The lesson of the day is that you should
Right.
always share." There was that was sort of still built in, and there was still some for as rebellious as it was, some modest humility and morality at the end of the day, and that was still a core of it. Um, oh, you mentioned Lisa turning into a vegetarian, and that whole episode was a big one for me because Paul McCartney was on it, and I listened to the Beatles so much growing up, and Paul McCartney was one of my hugest influences growing up musically. Um, but the funny thing was that I grew up knowing Paul McCartney was a vegetarian. Then I see him on The Simpsons, and he's a vegetarian. And up until I guess it's been about 7 or 8 years now since I stopped eating meat. But I had a Lisa eating meat moment that I had the exact same moment where she pictures the lamb and or is something like that. You remember it's like, "Lisa,
Please
don't eat
don't eat
me."
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
and she's like, "I can't do this." We were sitting in a Mexican restaurant. I was eating one of my favorite chicken, quesadilla meals, and, or yeah, and I was like, "I don't wanna eat this." Like, I was thinking about, like, just the grossness of a chicken being decapitated, and I was like, "I can't do this anymore," and I thought of Lisa Simpson. I was like, "I'm having a Lisa Simpson moment. It's over. I've crossed over. I can't," and I honestly, I don't miss meat these days, but
And I'm over
it's
here like,
crazy how that works out.
you pass that chicken leg, please? I'd really appreciate that. That'd be really. I'll eat it. That's fine. Yes, please
Yeah.
don't eat me.
Yeah.
Whipple effect says we had a culture and a counterculture. Novel times. I think we're seeing that now. And oddly enough, what we talk about is counterculture compared to what's happening today, which is
Yeah.
fascinating.
The
So,
most amazing thing is that the counterculture is what was the regular culture
mhm.
back then. Like, you're a
Yep.
rebel if you wanna just have a regular family and just try to just get along, and you don't really think about anybody else, you're just trying to do the best.
Here's the
But then,
reality of
like,
it. Can we
that's
all
count
just be very honest? That's not the counterculture. That's regular. Like, if you want to live a regular life, you can live a regular life and it's fine. But that's just not what you're told. There's
Mhm.
way more people that want to live a regular life. They
Right.
just want to have a family, go to work, and not be bogged down by all the crap that's going on in our world.
Yeah.
There's way more people but it's just there's just a loud, small percentage of people that
Yeah.
will scream and yell and have blue hair that are white in their early 20s that are girls.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane out there, and I'm on a mission. We got to figure out how to solve this problem. I think this show is going to solve all the world's problems
We're doing it every day, every day.
by the end of the show.
All right,
For sure.
I will go to my last one. We've done movies, we've done TV shows, and now let's go
Mhm,
to music.
mhm,
I don't know if you'll appreciate this one as much as I am, but before we do,
I'm excited.
Ian Pian came in with the $5 super chat. Says Weird Al wrote Chicken Pot Pie to parody Live and Let Die, but McCartney being a vegetarian canceled that. True story.
Mhm. Yeah, I have
Chicken
heard that
Pot
story.
Pie. Man, I would love to hear that,
Yeah,
man.
wouldn't
That'd
that
be a
be
good one
great? It's in the vault somewhere
somewhere. All right,
for sure.
the music that made me who I am. I've never been a huge, Brad is a musician. I am not a musician, but there have been songs and albums that I've gravitated to that I've learned to like over the years. But for me, my musical kind of exposure was when I was in high school. For some people, it's in elementary school. For some people, it's in middle school. For me, it was late high school, and it was built around kind of the athletic time for me when I was playing basketball in high school and things like that. So for me, in this particular time, it goes to Prodigy, the Fat of the Land.
Yes, that
I
fits.
love Prodigy. Love Prodigy.
Mhm.
I love everything about this album. Listen to this. Look at this stat real quick. In 1999, this is crazy. In 1999, The Fat of the Land entered the Guinness World Records as the fastest selling UK album. Brad, think about all the UK artists.
Yeah.
Beatles. It's crazy.
Mhm.
So, anyways, yeah, then they had songs like Smack My Bitch Up and Breathe, Diesel Power. Oh my God, that's the funky shit. So, like all these songs. This is and we're not even talking about Firestarter. If
Right.
you are a fan of this genre of music, I'm telling you, Prodigy is where it's at. It was so good, and I loved everything about it. And I
Yeah.
still do. I can listen to that music whenever. And in Smack My Bitch Up, which is a song that there's no way you could even title it today. But in Smack My Bitch Up, after the intro, and it hits that first bass line, and like, oh my God, I could just run through a wall. And that is toxic masculinity to its finest. Let's go.
Oh yeah, sure.
Legendary. Legendary.
The title, what it amps you up to do. We got to shut it down for sure.
Shut it down.
While you're talking, I was thinking about albums that you had that were Craig's albums that I remember you having.
Do you know the
CDs
first
or
one I ever
tapes?
bought? The
No.
first CD I ever bought with my money?
What's that?
It was I don't even know why I bought this, but the
Mhm.
first I went into a Virgin record store,
Mhm.
and I guess it was like when trance and dance was really popular in like the 90s,
Mhm.
and I bought an album by DJ Quicksilver. It was $25, which $25 in the late 90s, like it was an
Yeah.
import. And I didn't even know what DJ Quicksilver was, but this guy was like, "Yeah, he's pretty popular right now. You should probably check it out." I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." So I bought it, and I wore that shit out
Yeah.
because it was the only thing I owned.
Yeah. You I made a small list because you didn't own that much. You were kind of more so the guy that had a visor of burned CDs in your
Oh, yeah.
car.
Mm-hmm.
But you had all right, let me give you Craig's list
Oh,
of
you have 'em.
albums that I know you actually own because
Mhm.
see, I can chronologically like I can categorize my life by albums for some reason. Music connects me in a way that I know what other people listen to. But okay, Jock Jams.
Oh,
You
yeah,
had a Jock
Jams,
Jams
yeah.
CD.
This
What
is true.
volume was that? Do you
Volume
know?
1.
You had volume 1? Okay.
Mhm.
Dun, 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 dun. Hey. Dun, 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 dun.
Mhm.
You had a CD single for Scatman John.
Yep, talked about Scatman many times.
And you had a cassette tape of the Crash Test Dummies album.
Oh, yeah.
God Shuffled His Feet.
By the way, what an outstanding song that still is. God Shuffled. If you guys haven't heard Crash Test Dummies, God Shuffled His Feet, outstanding song. It's just
that whole
just
album is great.
It's a beautiful album. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely
Love
great. But those are the three that stuck out immediately that I remembered you having growing up. And I have definitely some memories of those albums just sitting around at our house and seeing
Oh, yeah.
those but more so later on, once you got a car for sure. And once we hit the Napster age of things
Mhm,
like
mhm.
burned CDs on the floor of the car, underneath the seats, every
Music was
teenager in the
free. Like,
90s. Yeah.
yeah.
Some kids had binders of bootleg burned copies and stuff. And I remember our dad bought a CD burner, one of the first ones to come out. And he spent like $600 on a CD
Right.
burner that burned. You want to know how fast it burned?
Yeah, I remember it took forever.
Two times the speed.
Yeah, it took forever.
It
That's
burned
right.
2 times the speed. It was $600.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
remember
that was
that.
great because that was my first way to make my CDs. I was like, I'd record something in my room. I could put it on the computer and I put it on a CD. I felt like I had made it.
Right.
That was important.
Man, I'll tell you this. I saw someone mention Eminem. Eminem in the early 2000s, for me specifically, the Marshall Mathers LP. I wore that out as well. I had that album, and there were songs in that and things that he says in that album that I would I don't even think I could say today. I mean, when
Mhm.
you look at a song like "Kill You" and the things that are said in "Kill You," it's crazy. And to think the things that he says now, and the fact that Eminem has not been canceled based off the things he said on that album alone are crazy. He's talking about killing people and murdering and
Nah.
derogatory comments towards all sorts of people. And ooh, man, woo.
Those kind of guys, they lose their hunger after a while. I think like you can only be edgy for so long. I don't know what he's putting out these days, but it seems like he'll come up and everybody be like, Eminem's back.
Well, he's
And
like
then
52. You know,
Yeah.
he's Eminem's in his mid 50s now.
You
So
know
it's
who's
not.
coming up strong right now is Tom McDonald. And he's
Oh yeah.
doing it all, and he's doing it all the right way. He's independent. I think we've touched on him a little bit on the show, but he's doing everything I was doing in 2006. He's making his own videos. He's sending out his own autographed CDs. I'm surprised he's even selling CDs. But he's doing a great job, and he's talking about things nobody else is talking about. He'd be great to have on the show one day. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come on this show. But man,
No,
that'd be
but
great.
you know, we'll definitely get Dave Pilkey.
Hey, before we get to Brad's final music album, by the way, we have a special treat for you tonight. Special treat for you. So make sure you guys stick around to the very tail end of the show. Before we do that, I would like for you to feed the algorithm and comment down below on YouTube. Not in the chat. Actually, go down to the comments and put a comment for who you would like to see as a guest on our show, because that is something we want to do much more frequently, is have guests on our show. Go down and actually tag them. Let us see put their channel on there, because that's the fastest way for us to be able to get a hold of them. So please do that. We don't care if they're left, right, middle, black, white, gay. I don't care. I just want to talk to people and have a conversation. And we don't know what we're going to talk about until that night. And I think that's the most fun thing about it. So get on it and feed that algorithm right now.
I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Young people today, let me ask you this. How can we party? The earth is so big. Can we party? I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Party.
All right. Hopefully you got some good stuff down there. Once again, only in the comments. And if you made it this far, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up on this episode. We really greatly appreciate it. We're trying to get to 150 thumbs up. We're trying to get 100. Listen, you're here. You might as well hit the thumbs up. We got 123 watching. If everybody just tunes in and hits the thumbs up button, guess what? We're going to be great. We're going to get there.
We got to get rid of Mr. Thummy McThummerson, Mr. Larry.
Mm-mm. All right, let's keep moving on. Let's finish up. It's Brad's music/album that made you who you are.
Yeah. This was tough, because when I get into an artist or a musician, I get into the entire catalog. I don't care if they have a crummy album over here and the rest of it was great, or if most of it was crummy and one album was great. I usually love the whole span of things. So, it's hard to pinpoint down to an album. So I had to pin it down to a moment, the most crucial moment music actually changed my life. So I listened to the Beatles growing up. Weird Al was huge. A lot of music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. But the one album that I know I wouldn't be who I am today for sure had I not come across it is the album behind me, Dangerous by Michael Jackson. There it is. I got a screenshot of it, and I have it right here on cassette tape. And now the reason why I wanted to pull it out on cassette tape was because this was how I heard it the very first time. The very first time I heard it was at our cousin Grayson's house. They had this. I wasn't really into Michael Jackson, and they put the cassette on, and he goes, "You got to hear this. You got to hear this. This is so cool." He puts on song 1 on side 2, which is Black or White, and it starts off with the kid listening, jamming out in his bedroom, and there's guitar riff going, and his dad's banging on the door, and he's like, "Turn it down." And this totally goes with our theme of rebellious kids of the 90s, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll show you." And he takes the tape out and then he turns it up. Then Black or White comes on. Now, that moment is a pivotal moment for the rest of my life as an artist, as a creator, in what I wanted to do. Because the moment that happened, I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was like, this is something. This means something to me. And
Wow.
and I would never have had that moment. Now, what's crazy about it, this is what I love about physical media, is that had our aunt or our cousins not bought their copy and played their copy for me in their room, I never would have heard that. We never would have had that moment, right? And it changed everything for me. Now, what I did was I went home, I wrote a letter to Epic Records, Michael Jackson's record company. I said, I really want a copy of this album. Will you please send it to me? I was a kid. Guess what? Months go by. I hear nothing.
Oh.
One day, I get a manila envelope in the mail. It's a copy of Michael Jackson's Dangerous on CD. So not only was it my first music explosion in my head, but it was my very first compact disc. I didn't even have a
Really?
CD player. Yeah. You didn't
They
know this
sent you
story?
one? No,
They
I had no
sent me one.
idea.
I still have it to this day. I still listen to it. It is my very first CD. They sent me a
Wow.
copy of it, and it's mine. It's not on my phone. It's not like they emailed me a download code. I have it. It's mine. It's been mine since I was
That's
10,
crazy.
11 years old. And that's what I love about physical media. So I got it on record. I've got it on cassette tape. I've got it on CD. And it's just, I love everything about this album, from how much music is packed into it. It's a full disc. It's practically 80 minutes of a disc. The artwork on it is incredible. There's so much to look at. It's something you can hold. It's something you invest in. Um, it's one, probably my favorite album artwork, right on up there with Weird Al's first album, his self-titled debut, which is also a very detailed drawing. I love album artwork like that. And one thing I will also say that I want to point out is I started getting into cassette tapes a few years ago, and I pulled out a bunch of old cassette tapes, and the kids were listening to them and they were going through them. And I came across Michael Jackson's Bad cassette, and I pulled it out, and it looked like this. It had stopped, right? You see where all the tape is, and there's like, it's like kind of like halfway through playing. And I realized at some point in my youth, I pushed stop on the cassette player, and I took it out and I stopped that moment of my childhood. It's like I paused, I freeze framed it. And it just stayed right there all the way up until I found that cassette tape, and I popped it in. I got to play it with Dylan, and he pushed play on it. And I was like, and the moment takes off again, and the song just starts playing. And that's what I love about physical media, because you can do that with these things. They become your own little trinkets.
In a weird way, if you think about what you were doing at that time, when you freeze frame, and then you were to fast forward 20 years in the future and see that you'd be listening to that with your son,
Yeah,
like, think about how crazy that would be.
I know.
Right.
Isn't that incredible? So like, these are such cool things. I think that these are overlooked things. Everybody is all about convenience these days, and just, thumbing through movies, thumbing through music, and want to save space. We don't want to clutter up our house with things and records, but they say a lot about us, and they're also they're knickknacks that tell us a lot about who we are and where we've been, what we enjoy in life. And this album is probably the most important album. And I still listen to it today like it's the first, like it's my first time listening to it. It's one of those ones you can go back and you're like, oh, I've never heard that before.
Hal over here saying you can link every major life event to the song you were hearing at the time. Music has a powerful effect on memory. 100%. You hear about people who have what's it called when you can't remember what your
Dementia,
yes,
Alzheimer's.
right. And they'll hear a song and they'll immediately, it's like life comes back to them.
Yeah.
Immediately.
There's a great documentary about that. This guy has done studies where he gets iPods for old folks that are struggling with that, and they're sitting there in a wheelchair with their eyes closed, with their head down, just far away, from the world. And they put on a song that they used to listen to, and their eyes light up. It's so emotional. It's incredible.
Right.
And I hope, as I get older, these are the things that we're going to need as we get older, as we lose our memory and our life starts to slip away from us or something, God forbid that happens to any of us. But this is why we need these little trinkets, because our kids aren't going to know. Oh, if you go back onto his iPhone 10 from 30 years ago and you still have the charger for it, go ahead and plug it in, see what was on his Spotify. That's not going to work down the road. But having a record and being like, this was Grandpa's record collection, that stuff is going to go it goes a long way.
Look at these
Yeah, look
dementia
at that.
parents.
It's a beautiful thing.
Wow. Look at how happy they are. It's like how happy he is. And just they hear this music and they just start tapping and they're into it. Wow. How amazing. Look at that. Just totally into it. Oh my goodness.
It's a beautiful thing. Glenn Campbell, legendary country star musician, struggled with that same thing. There's a great documentary on his life that came out a few years ago where it's incredible. He's starting to slip away. He can't remember things throughout the day, but when he goes on stage, he's singing his songs. He's playing these incredible guitar licks, and he's still got it in him. It's an incredible study of the brain and what we connect to and how we function. Because even though we can slip away in other ways, the music is still in there. It can still spark things.
He's just kind of there, slouched. It's music time. Pop it on, get the iPod going, and look at that. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, absolutely
amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
See, that is something I can get behind, Oh my gosh. Wow. Like that is something that if you can extend the value of our seniors' life a little bit, just extend and get them to a happy place. My goodness, I could absolutely get behind that.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Hey, so we talked a lot about music. We've talked about movies, TV shows, and albums. Obviously, your album was Dangerous from Michael Jackson.
That's right.
But you also wanted to share something. We've talked about this before in the past.
Yeah, I almost forgot. So right at this peak time, we talked about this a few nights ago. When I discovered this album, I was 100% Michael Jackson all the time, dancing at home in my bedroom, getting the moves down. I was watching the movie Moonwalker all the time, studying. And we went to Six Flags in 1993, I want to say. And we did a create your own video. And this was probably my first time doing this in public. People got to look at me make a music video through the window on the outside. And I made a music video.
I'm so excited for this. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this.
So I thought we'd share it. We'd watch it tonight, and you can enjoy the best that I could do at that time. This was pre-YouTube. This was not watching tutorials online. This is me doing whatever I could do by just studying the movies on VHS tape.
All right. If you're new to the channel, once again, before we watch this, after we watch this, just give this a thumbs up, and let's help grow this channel. Hit the subscribe button as well. I have not watched this, Brad. I legitimately have not watched this. I just have this file. I didn't play a second of it because I want my general reaction to see if this is anything like I remember it from Six Flags over Texas so long ago. Are you ready?
All right. Yeah. You're going to love my outfit. It's what I was wearing that day at Six Flags. There you go. Windbreaker.
The green screen.
Look
at him go. This was my brother.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, man. I remember the background.
So I'm wearing...
Look at him go.
I'm wearing a windbreaker, jacket, and matching pants. I've got on San Francisco 49ers sneakers for some reason. I wasn't a football fan. And underneath there was an extreme close-up Wayne's World t-shirt.
Look at
I remember
those
the details.
moves.
Check it out.
Woo! Kids were
Thank
loving
you.
on it.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Are you proud of this? You should be.
Yeah, I mean, even the courage to do it. Now, if you missed the story the other day, we went on the Texas Giant a few hours later, and it was my first brush with fame where this girl saw me. She goes, "Were you that little boy dancing like Michael Jackson earlier?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was me."
Look
And that
at
was like
those
the first time.
Man, those
Check it out.
MJ moves.
Yeah.
Back and forth to the neck. Man. Jiggly says, "This is too pure for the internet." Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, here we go.
Love it. Look at these effects.
I love
This
the
was
fake
it.
Michael Jackson in the background.
Yeah. The re-recording.
Right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I remember about this, I remember people all around the outside watching you do this over this course of three.
Oh,
whatever
really?
It was. Yes, I remember people all around the windows watching you. I mean, this was legitimately 4 or 5 people deep watching you from the windows. and you were just in there doing all this. You knew all the words. You were up on beat, man. This is outstanding.
Yeah. This was
I do
my
remember.
life.
Yeah, I do remember you almost slipping on the "I'm not going to spend my life being a color" line, and like,
Oh.
just, look at you get down, man. You were going crazy.
Yep. I was running out of moves towards the end. I remember that. It's like,
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at
Eye
that
to
great
eye
shot.
with the camera.
yeah.
I mean, you were in it.
We got the strobe effect going on here.
You can see the green screen ending on the right-hand side of the screen.
Yeah. You can see my jacket blending in with the green screen, as a matter of fact. This was as high quality as you could get.
Absolutely.
The days where you could, like, you know how easy this would be for literally any kid to make these days? This would probably cost mom and dad like $40 at least.
Oh man. Can we make another KO goal where you redo this?
I don't know if I got it in me these days. I'd have to study the moves again. There's so many better kids out there these days. But look, that was my life. I would be in the bedroom just dancing all day long, all day. Yeah.
Hal says, yeah, this would be on TikTok nowadays. That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. You cut it up into 10-second segments and put it up there.
Wow. Okay.
Well, there you go, internet.
Go crazy. Thumbs up, subscribe, go crazy.
You want more of this kind of content, you better hit that like and subscribe button. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Well, this was a fun episode. We got to watch a little home movie there. We talked about our movies, TV shows, and music. That's great.
It's good stuff, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Travis says, needs to be behind a paywall. Hey, pay-per-view. You doing the entire thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. My HBO special coming up soon. Brad Skistimus dances to re-recorded Michael Jackson songs in front of a green screen.
Oh, that's so funny. All right. Once again, guys, if you made it this far on the channel, please hit the subscribe button and thumbs up the video, the episode. Once again, this will not grow without you. We cannot stress that enough. This will not grow without you. We will not stick around without your support. So once again, let your friends know this show exists. And if you're new to the channel, tell us about it. We want to hear about you. Welcome to our amazing little community we have going on here with this amazing little show. Our viewership goal every episode is 1,250, and we're going to continue to hit that. Our last show hit it. Let's keep it growing every single day. And then we're going to slowly take over the world with a little bit of conversation, a little bit at a time. So great stuff. Have an excellent night, everybody. Remember, people are going to try to bring you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Find me over on twitch.tv/CraigSkits every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Hopefully, we'll see you guys then. Don't forget, Thursday is the call-in show, so make sure you become a patron over at patreon.com/CraigSkits to be a part of the show. Sounds good. Brad, you got anything else?
It don't matter if you're black or white.